And look, speaking of epic incompetence, here's more. Yesterday, over 500,000 Victorian households lost their power. That's roughly about a fifth of the state because we just don't have enough electricity. Last night, 6 main suburban train lines, they were shut down, and traffic lights across Melbourne went out, meaning commuter chaos. Perhaps a quarter of homes tonight are still without power, 24 hours on, and it may be weeks before everyone is reconnected. Now, the Victorian Premier says it's all the fault of, quote, extreme weather. Well, extreme weather was only mid-30s, and we could all anticipate that. Now, leaving aside her blame shifting for a moment, we should be able to expect redundancy is built into any first world power grid so that the loss of a couple of towers doesn't cause this crisis. That's what happened in Victoria yesterday. However, it seems that even before some of these transmission towers went down, the energy market operator was already negotiating emergency supplies to cover the late afternoon peak, and that around 90,000 customers had already been cut off. As the former Resources Minister Keith Pitt told me here last night, we are looking at the future under a grid dominated by unreliable, weather-dependent power.
This is the challenge when the network is so unstable and so reliant on intermittent wind and solar, for example. I mean, the idea that we are going to have the nation and our economy rely on the weather, and you've got extreme weather conditions in Victoria right now. Imagine if that damage was hailstorms right throughout a couple of thousand megawatts of solar panels, which you've got in Victoria.
Yes, he's a politician. Yes, he's a former minister in this area, but he's also an electrical engineer. And this is an issue not just for Victoria, but right across the country. As I said, there's just not enough electricity, as shown when the wholesale power price went up to around $16,000 per megawatt hour before the system went down. Now, $16,000 in Victoria, while that same megawatt of power cost Queenslanders $60. As the head of the Victorian Chamber of Commerce said today, support for net zero would, he said, start to weaken if the reliability, affordability and security of supply could not be guaranteed. This outage, said Paul Guerra, merely highlights how fragile our system is. Now, that's the understatement of the year. If you think yesterday was bad, just wait until Labor cuts off all our coal and gas. Armageddon and then some.